Hey guys, welcome to another East Coast Rams podcast. Ashton here, just doing a mini podcast, giving my reaction to last week's game against the Bengals. Me and Zach will be going to the Colts game, so I'm gonna preview that here real quickly. Scheduling stuff came up, so that's why Zach had to pull in a fantastic guest, Blaine Grisack of Turf Show Times. I would definitely recommend going and watching that show right after this one. This is gonna be real quick. So this Bengals game, man, where to start with this one? Let's just start with the fact that this team is very young and doesn't know yet how to bounce back when everything isn't going their way. It doesn't mean their execution was good to perfect. It wasn't, especially on offense. Uh, but great teams find ways to win even when they're not getting balls like going their way, when they don't have reffing calls going their way. Good teams still win most of those games. Now they do lose some of them, but if everything's not going your way, you got to be able to bounce back. You got to be able to find ways to create. Uh, I know we had two touchdowns that should have counted, to be frank. Kind of ridiculous calls. Letting that timeout stand when it was, I mean, it wasn't atrocious, but it wasn't good. Like, he was clearly like 2 second, not 2 seconds, probably second late after the snap. They shouldn't have counted that. And I understand people having issues with that. I had issues with that. It's very frustrating to watch refs just get blatant calls incorrect or not knowing rules. Like there was a pass interference that the ball wasn't catchable. It should have been holding, right? So that's annoying. But the next play, you still got to make that play. In the red zone, you still had two or three opportunities after those calls to score touchdowns. And you got to be able to perform on that. And this team wasn't. And I'm hoping they grow throughout the season offensively. And having Cup will probably make that a little bit better. Add more options. Uh, Thomas coming in, he didn't look ready. He was getting cooked. McVay should have moved the tight end on that side to help Chip, or at least Chip, if not actually double team their linebacker and or Kendrick, and they just didn't. Kendricks was like owning that side uh after we lost our starting left tackle, and Thomas just couldn't do anything against it. So McVay has to do better with that and be cognizant. Like, you got to be aware. And I understand you want to have Higbee out there. He was a big part of the passing game uh, for them, but it wasn't working, guys, very clearly. Now, I'm going to be very against the grain when it comes to this because I saw a lot of people on Twitter basically saying that, like, we had to run the ball more and, like, it yelling at McVay to run it. Guys, this is a bottom three going into the game. After the game, I just looked, we're like 28th. We're bottom of the league running team right now. Um, it doesn't make sense to run the ball when it's not going to be effective. And the Bengals, they weren't loading up the box, but they were basically daring us to pass and saying you're not going to run the ball with a certain pressure like looks that their defensive coordinator were putting up. And Kyron wasn't doing good anyways with the holes that he was being presented. He had a few decent runs, but his strengths are more in the passing game, and uh, you can't sustain that with that style of running back, especially when he's taking every snap. They don't have faith in the people behind them. right now. Like maybe in the future, the rookie could grow, or it, Ronnie Rivers could grow. But right now, they don't have faith in either of those guys. That's why they're not getting snaps, and we're not getting yardage at all in the running game. So we got to do something about that, and just running the ball and going third and long, second and long because of it. It's not That's not the way you win games, and they did what they thought was best, and I frankly agree with them. I know that's going to be unpopular with a lot of Rams fans to say, but I thought they did what they could to win the game. I think it's unfortunate we lost two starting linemen. I mean, No Boom was out for a quarter. Uh, Losing Jackson, he was playing good up until that point, and our backup just couldn't play there. So uh, it's a sucky loss because this Bengals team was kind of hobbled. A defense played really good. Akello was looking fantastic. That's a really great pickup by the Rams. Uh, this secondary is really, really solid, especially for the fact that our defensive line isn't getting a whole lot of pressure. Um, Stepping in for Leonard Floyd, Byron Young is just looking fantastic. Uh, Same level defender, which for a rookie is a great compliment. I think he's going to be a real stud, but we don't have anyone across from him, and the rest of our D line is good, not great, solid. They did better this week stopping the run. I'll give them credit for that. It was a lot better in the run defense department. Pass defense, I mean, it's going to be hard. Like, they have probably the best trio wide receivers in top five. So if you put that in like perspective, I thought they did good, not great. Again, like eventually this year, their top, not Higgins, their top wide receiver was gonna start doing better, and Bengals were just in a funk, and they kind of broke that this game. And I don't think necessarily it was because our defense was bad. Like our defense was on the field a lot, so it is what it is. It's a sucky loss. I think this team is still a good team, still a playoff team, but they got to find ways to start winning these games, because I think just saying like, oh, it's a young roster, like this team can win games. They just got to start performing and executing better, especially on second and third downs on offense. So that's my perspective of the Bengals game. Let's preview this upcoming game against Colts. Me and Zach will be there. I think we plan on doing something Saturday night, uh, the night before. So definitely take a look on our Twitter page if you want to join us or meet up if you guys are going to the game. Um, so I've been watching this Colts game, or this Colts team, guys, and they're sneaky good. Um, Richardson, for rookie, uh, I was always hesitant coming out of Florida, because the Florida games I watched, it, he would make some really great plays, and then like his decision making would be pretty bad. Now the Florida O line wasn't particularly great, and his wide receiving weapons wasn't always top tier. So going into the NFL, I didn't really know what to expect. Uh, Athletically gifted, and I think he's using a lot of those talents. Credit to Steichen, I think is how you pronounce it, their head coach, for really developing a solid offense to put him in as a rookie. I really like Pittman. I got him on two fantasy teams. He's a really, really great dog. I think Josh Downs is a wide receiver I like coming out of draft. I think he's a good second option. This Colts team is growing. I think they're young like the Rams. Offensively, I do think they need more weapons. Missing Taylor has kind of hurt them a lot. I think they would be a like 15 to 13 ranked offense if they had Taylor in there to kind of help out. Right now, their passing game is lacking because they don't have any other weapons to pass the ball around to. I think Zach Moss has been solid as a backup running back, really good games, but they haven't really faced the best rushing defenses. So that's kind of like where those like backup running back putting up good numbers, but not against best defenses. But you have to play who you have to play, and he's been doing good. So when talking about the Rams defense versus this Colts offense, um, really it's going to be trying to focus on shutting down Pittman. He gets a lot of receptions, gets a lot of targets. If you can shut him down, focus on keeping probably zone around the rest of the wide receivers, shutting down that passing game, and then maybe potentially loading the box against Moss. I don't know if you have to do that or not with our D line. We'll see how they play. But I like the matchup. Richardson should be back for this game, so he'll be able to do a lot of RPOs, a lot of fun run stuff. And the Rams have historically not played well against that style of quarterback. Uh, So we'll see how they adjust. I'm trying to think if we have played that type of quarterback with Raheem Morris in our last 2, 3 years. I'm sure we have once or twice, but really the problem is our linebacking core has been bad the last few years whenever we played them. And that's going to be a big focus point of this game. Can Ernest Jones contain Richardson? Can he like follow him and be able to make those tackles? And he's played great so far this year, so we'll kind of see if he can be able to perform there. So let's talk about the Rams offense. Uh, O line is going to be a big key for what I'm watching when I'm at the game. Can we keep Stafford upright? We did really good first 2 weeks. Last week, terrible. Gave up, I think, 6 sacks. This Colts defense is really good. Like their D line is fantastic. It's kind of like the Rams defense where it's hard to tell uh how good the secondary is uh because at least with the Colts the D line pressure is so fantastic. With the Rams I think it's cuz the offense has been so good. It's been a little bit harder for other teams to kind of get their offense on the field to really test their secondary, and we'll learn more throughout the season. But with this Colts secondary, I think their D line is so stacked. DeForest Buckner does such a great job of applying pressure, and a lot of those. I think Shaquille Leonard, if I'm getting his name right, I think he changed his name. But either way, he's really good on D line. uh, I believe one of their weaknesses of their defense is their linebackers. So it's going to be very big focus on like Kyron Williams catching some of those passes, Stafford throwing some of those passes a lot better than he did last week to Kyron. Higbee should be a focus. And we'll see if Puka can kind of have a rebound game. Now, I know he didn't do terrible. He's a rookie, can double teamed. Like, that's nuts. Really good on him for still producing in that situation. But we have one more week until Cup can potentially come back. So he's going to have to keep on playing through that. And if he can keep on producing, I think we got a really special one in him. Yeah, we're not going to be able to run the ball against Colts. I just don't see that being a big avenue. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Kyron can kind of let loose and, you know, do really good things in run game. I just with that D line and the way our O line is playing with the injuries, we'll see. Noboom's supposed to be back, so that's a good thing. What else? Defense, offense, special teams was it was good last week. So special teams, it's not a complete dumpster fire like it was looking. Maybe it could be after week one. So hopefully all that stays continued. Ethan Evans looks solid. Hopefully our punt coverage can be a little bit better. But yeah, that's everything from me, guys. Me and Zach are hopefully will be back on a single pod together starting or for reviewing next game, talking about our experience at the game. Like I said earlier, stay tuned to the Twitter post. If you are going to the game and you want to meet up in Indianapolis. Looking forward to seeing the Rams at a game again. I don't get to do this often. I know a lot of people watching don't get to do it. Very expensive. I'm very blessed to be able to do it. So looking forward to a very fun time. Uh, Guys, please like and subscribe. And thanks again to Blaine for guest hosting the main podcast. Hope you guys have all have a great week. And until next time, bye bye.